Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to this week's episode of Monday Motivation. Monday Motivation was designed for a little bit of motivation for your Monday, your morning, and even your week. And some of you are telling me your month. You set sometimes one of these resonates with you and you set it as a theme. So thank you for those of you that have messaged me and fed that back. So if you are one of my regular vibers that likes to watch this live and likes to put comments below and ask questions or share your experiences, please do. Just type in the comment below. I won't bite. And if you're watching this on the replay, which a huge percentage of you do on the replay as well, then thank you for commenting throughout the day. It makes my day, and Mondays is a coaching day for me, so it's really great in between calls to be able to sort of dive in and see what you've posted. So this morning I'm armed with my Queen mug with my cup of hot water and lemon. I'll take a slurp of that. And gosh, already we see that Faye's there. Good morning, says Faye. Alan's on. Good morning, Jenny, says Alan. And I even got a thumbs up from one of you, so thank you for watching. And by the way, if you're one of my watchers that just likes to watch and you don't want to comment or anything else, don't worry. You will stay nice and safe and just able to watch. So if you do want me to say hello back or respond to your comments, then do pop them in the box below while we're live. So this is an interesting topic, and I'm going to be honest with you. I schedule the themes for these sometimes about 3 or 4 weeks in advance. And then when I get to the Monday, it's a bit like naming a baby. You get to the Monday and maybe there's something that I've gone through or something that I've heard my clients saying like time and time again. And it's that stick or twist moment. And today is going to be a twist moment. Usually I think I'll stick to the subject. You know, I've kind of mentally prepared for it. I've planned it. It's gone through my head. I know what I'm going to say. And I'll stick to that. But today I decided to flip it at the last minute. So I understand that Faye, you're watching with JJ. Hello, JJ. Good morning. Just, if you're watching with somebody else, I'll gladly shout them out. One of my clients and a gorgeous viber, France Lise, normally says that she's in the midst of waking her children up. So I did wonder whether this Monday motivation, whether a simple way to motivate people would be to shout, "Wake up!" Jasmine, what do you think of that? Wake up! So what am I drinking hot water for? You could have milk. Oh, that's a good idea, Jasmine. This is hot water with some lemon in, so that when I get up and do these, because I haven't really spoken to many people before, though I did this morning, I haven't spoken to many people before. I could sound like this, Jasmine. That wouldn't be good, would it? No. But maybe I'll have that as a treat later. So, there's no such thing as failure, rather provocatively titled Monday Motivation. But here's one of the things that, or one of the reasons why I'm going to speak about this. I very recently, I think it was over on Instagram and maybe even on this Facebook page right here, I posted something. And by the way, Jasmine, I can't wait to come and see you. Come and visit. Mummy's going to do some makeup and make me look really pretty and feel really pretty. And hopefully you'll make me a nice drink of milk. How's that? So quite recently I put a post out on this page on Instagram, and one of the phrases that I used in there was, "There's no such thing as failure, only feedback." And for some people they were like, "But like, what does that mean?" And as a coach or as a person that helps people with products and services, and a lot of clients who are coaches, it's kind of like we band around these sentences that don't really mean a lot. I would love this sentence to mean something great to you and something that actually is quite motivational. This is one of those episodes where it's quite self-motivational. So if you do have paper and pen, you might want to jot down some things that jump out or resonate with you. Don't worry about making notes for it, because you can just click on the button at the top on the right hand side as you look at it and just click save video, and you can come back to it anytime you want. How's that? Another slurp. So there is no such thing as failure, only feedback. And I'm just going to put this down. I've got a lot of cards up here. Whoops, just dropped that there. And especially for JJ, look at my Jenny doll. Anyway, back to my mission. I have had numerous experiences with clients where we're in private sessions and we're helping them to set their goals. Sometimes it's in like corporate organisations where there's a program they're about to roll out, a project they're about to roll out, a training initiative. And any way that we are we're doing any kind of work together. Oh, Jasmine said, I'm already pretty but need some sparkly makeup. Okay then, Jasmine, you're on. We'll have one where Mummy does my makeup and one where Jasmine does my makeup, and see whose makeup is best. We all know who's going to win there. Will it be the makeup artist who's had a plethora of clients, including just the BBC and people like that? Or will it be Jasmine? Little Jasmine who's going to put sparkly makeup on me. We all know the answer to that. So cast your votes in the box below. What do you think? So now I've just offended my makeup artist. That's just, So a lot of time, getting back to there is no such thing as failure, only feedback, because this is one of the most powerful ways to self-motivate. And actually, there is no such thing as failure, only feedback. That principle actually will motivate you really strongly when you're doing perhaps a good job of beating yourself up about something that didn't work out or didn't go according to plan. So one of the things that I realise, whether it's, on a one-on-one conversation with a private client and we're like mapping out the goals that they want to achieve or what they want to do with their visibility or what they want to do indeed with their life. Majority of my sounding board clients, they don't actually come to me to be more visible. They come to me literally with the expression, and I laugh, but it's like, sort my life out. I need to sort my life out. That there are areas or, pockets of their life that they just want to make changes in for the better. So one of the things that I always ask straight up front, and this will be a really great question for you to ask yourself in literally anything that you're doing and that you're striving to achieve. It's almost like taking an inventory of where you are now, looking at what you want to do or where you want to get to, and then filling out the gaps in between. So the first question to ask yourself is, think about being, doing, or thinking. So how do you want to be different? How do you want to think differently? Or what do you want to do differently? Let me give you an example using the thread that we have this morning. So in order for me to get from where I am now, saying it'd be really great to get my makeup done, not once but twice, once by a makeup artist, once by a makeup artist's daughter. In order for me to get there to that point, there'll be some sort of motivation that I need, some action just to get me, on that first step. And motivation shouldn't feel like force. Motivation should be something that pops up inside that makes you go, yeah, that would be really great, A bit like for those of you that have ever worn shoes on a night out and you're like, oh, I can't wait to take my shoes off and rub my feet. You are currently in a state of, oh my gosh, my feet are really starting to ache. And your desired state, without you thinking about it or making a meal of it, is I can't wait to take my shoes off, put my feet up, have a cup of tea, go to bed, whatever the thing is. That's the place that you're going to. Now, very rarely do I hear someone say, my feet are killing me, can't wait to get home, take my shoes off, put my feet up. But I'm procrastinating on this now. I know it's something that I want to do and I'm not sure, or I want to do it, I'm a bit scared of the state of my feet when I take my shoes off. Or, you know what, I've been watching a YouTube video on how someone else takes their shoes off. No, you don't do any of that. You go straight to it. You're very, very firm. This is where I am now and this is where I want to be. And there is no such thing as failure, only feedback will help to get you there. So first thing is, think of a specific scenario in your life, something that you want to achieve. And if it's some of my visibility clients say, I want to finish my website. That's actually a cluster of things. Is it that you've got to write the copy for your about page? Is it that you've got to submit it to your web designer or someone else? Is it that you've got to even think about it? There's 3 things just there. So pick one of them, preferably the one that comes first, but you might kind of be future pacing yourself a little bit. So think of one of those things. So that's what I'd love you to do on this. Think of one thing, and it's likely that something sprang to mind and you might have already dismissed it and went, oh, not that. No, let me think of something. So it could be something random. Maybe today you want to drink more glasses of water. Maybe tonight you want to go to bed earlier so that you have more sleep. You know, maybe tomorrow you want to walk a certain distance, run a certain distance. Whatever the thing is, think about that thing. And just like, you know, if you want to put it in the comments below, then I'd love to hear it. If you want some accountability for it, what I highly recommend you do is visit the group at the top of this page and go into the Visibility Vibes tribe, because you can then put your stuff in there. And the reason that I suggest that is because whatever you're posting in there, it means it doesn't show up on your timeline, you know, your great aunt Edna, you know, your friends, people that you work with, you know, people that you've maybe met and you want to keep something a bit sacred. They won't get to see it. So I highly recommend you do that. So first things first, decide on the thing that you want to do. Let's say you've got a decision to make. Let's say that you need to decide on doing something. Whatever that thing is, it could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be whenever. Make a note of that. Just have a word that reminds you of what it is. And side note, write it down. I mapped out this Monday motivation yesterday in my mind, and then normally what I do is I just write 4 or 5 bullet points so that I come up here and I can share it with you. But yesterday I didn't do that, and what happened? I remembered some of the elements I wanted to share, but I couldn't remember the reason why I want to share it, which brings me on to my next point. But because I couldn't remember the reasons why I wanted to share it, it meant that I had to like throw a line, cross a line through it and do something else. Okay, so this week I shall be setting up the new studio. Oh, exciting. So out of that, Faye, that will be a cluster of jobs. It could be cleaning it, putting it together, doing anything else like that. What's the first action that you'll need to take? It could even be like me with the Monday motivations, thinking and the planning process. So this is the second step. Now you've got the thing that you want to do. Just take a moment to look at where you are now. And this is a really good self-coaching exercise, particularly great if you like write it down. Even if you don't journal or anything else like that, write it down on a piece of paper. If you write it down on a piece of paper, then you have got it for sort of prosperity, or posterity, I should say. So now that you've got where you are now, so I'll go back to the example I used. No makeup, quite happy about that, but knowing that there are times when I do want to have makeup and have my makeup done and be happy as well. So, you know, the goal here isn't to be happy. The goal here is to have makeup or to not have makeup, if that makes sense. So why, you know, and write down some of the things that you are maybe, you know, kind of like, well, I'm quite comfortable not having any makeup, but the perception is this, or whatever else. But really best to come from you. You know, like it could make me look tired, and if I had a bit more mascara, and it would open up my eyes, or you know, whatever the thing is. Or when people are watching this later on in the day on the replay at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I look tired, they might think, what was the point of that, you know? So I want to be able to show up in a different way. So I write down all the places of where I am now. And then I look at where I want to go to, which is where you ask yourself, like the third point of this. So first point is identify something. Second point is write down where you are now. No shame in the game, just write down exactly where you are now. And then the next point is either you'll want to do differently, so do something differently, be different, like in your own being, we're human beings, or think differently. And this is where it can point to a mindset shift, you know. Maybe you found that you are procrastinating on something and you don't really know why. This exercise will pull that out of your own brain and you're able to do something with it. And for those of you that think that's all well and good, but I know that I need more help with that, you know, I am a life coach too. So if you want to find out about having a private session with me, there's a couple of ways you can do that. But if you hit the message button at the top of the page there, send me a message. We'll have a conversation so I can establish what it is you need. Is it a one-off session, which is the how can I call, which is up there, or is it a series of sessions like bite size? where we get together on a regular basis every other week, and you get private coaching to get you towards your goals. Normally goals. I was going to say goal, but normally goals, because we cover a lot of ground. So do that if you need help with it. Don't struggle alone, because it can take so long, and doing it alone can put us into the anxiety that we feel in the first place. So now we've asked the question, is it something that I want to do differently, be different, think differently, maybe act differently? Whatever the thing is, ask yourself that question and take notice of what comes up. Now, sometimes this is a surprise to people, because they say, oh, well, I need to think differently about how I set up my studio. And when they go through this process, they realise that maybe it's not about thinking differently. Maybe it's a feeling, and that's their strongest thing. They want to feel different about the studio, so they want to feel comfortable. So the reason that I give that as a further example is that sometimes it's not the obvious opposite. It's not, I feel overwhelmed and I want to feel really calm and not overwhelmed. Sometimes it's, I feel overwhelmed, and the thing that the person actually wants is something like, they want to feel less frustrated, and they're like, I didn't even realise I felt frustrated. So have a look at the where do you want to go, do or be differently. Now, this is where there is no such thing as failure, only feedback comes in. When you are looking at where you are now, you need to look at what is going on around you. The expression, there is no such thing as failure, only feedback, means that you're not failing, you're not doing it wrong, you're not messing it up, you're not procrastinating. You're getting feedback either from your circumstances, either from your thinking, either from how you feel, either from the people around you. They're giving you feedback as to what is working and what isn't. It's as simple as that. So if you're worried about public speaking and you stand on a stage and at the end of it, everyone kind of claps and goes, you haven't failed as a public speaker. They're giving you feedback about something that you've just done. And by the way, people imagine that that will happen all the time, and it very rarely happens to any public speaker. If, people keep saying to you, once had somebody say to me, oh, people always say that I'm too direct, too blunt, and often I offend people. There comes a point, like one or two people might be offended by something we do. We can't please everybody all of the time. But if everybody is starting to say that to you, that is feedback. It's not that you're doing something necessarily quote unquote wrong. It means that you are getting feedback that your method of communication is too direct, offends people, and is maybe too blunt, okay? And if a lot of people always say that, that is the kind of feedback that you can then say, so how do I want to come across? If the answer is blunt and I want to offend people, then you're on track. There is no such thing as failure, remember, only feedback. But if other people are saying, if you're saying to yourself, no, I want to come across as compassionate and people can speak to me and not feel intimidated or threatened, then go through this process. Where are you now? Well, people keep telling me I'm too blunt or whatever. Where are you looking to go to? Like, how do you want to feel or think or act differently? I want to be able to speak in a way that doesn't offend so many people. I want to be able to speak in a way that connects and get really specific as to what you want. And you'll find that you'll go from where you are now to where you want to be. And the gap in between, the route in between will start to show itself, because now you're really open to taking feedback from the circumstances and the things around you that happen. Now you're really open to making the difference because you know where it is you're heading towards. This is the reason why, if you've written down 6 or 7 goals that you want to achieve, that you need to do this process for each one, because the feedback will be different, where you are now will be different, where you want to get to will be different. It could be that you're right in this moment in space and time and you've done something phenomenal and amazing and you want more of the same. Go through the same process. How do I want to think differently, be differently, act differently? I'm going through a thinking process at the moment. Like, how do I want to think differently? Because I know that how I think right now and today definitely affects my future. If I got up this morning at 6 and said, oh, I'm so tired, I don't want to get out of bed, it's too much, how do you think that would affect the chances of me actually getting out of bed and my state of mind when I did get out of bed? Okay, so I'm really curious to know, like, are there things that you will be using this on? Can you post them here? And if not, can you post them in the group? And here's the reason why I ask you to post them in the group. This is not post them in the group so it looks like my group is really busy and really popular. This is post it in the group because when you name it, you claim it. And when you claim it, other people will rally around and support you. So I've got a group who are the Inner Circle Vibers. And for you guys, you know, Monday, I think the post has already gone in there in terms of like, what do you want to achieve this week? Let this goal be incorporated in it so that the people around you in that group, I can, you know, I'm in the group too, we can support you and help to hold you accountable, and that you have somebody to talk about that along the way, because doing it in our heads by ourselves is probably one of the most stressful ways we can do it. So I can't wait to hear how you use these tips. If you want to go back, save the recording and you can go back and rewatch. If there are people that you know of, and this one is definitely not related to just business people, please do share this with them. And I would always recommend that you share this on your personal timeline, because you never know who of your Facebook friends are going through something or need to hear this advice. And for those of you that are coaches and stuff that share them in your groups on your pages, thank you so much. I want this to have a positive ripple effect. This is the day after Pay It Forward. It's like Pay It Forward Boxing Day. Apparently yesterday was National Pay It Forward Day. And you just don't know. Somebody could have woken up this morning feeling very demotivated. My feedback is that I get a lot of private messages from people saying, oh my gosh, this is just, you know, I was going through this particular thing or this particular scenario, and your Monday motivations kept me going. And, you know, often from strangers, people I don't even know. Or I really needed to hear this today, or something else. And I don't do it for that praise of hearing the people say that, but it does warm my heart when they do. So thank you so much. So you said, I'm going to be organised this morning. Replied to emails, messages this morning while drinking my, and I guess that's going to say tea. It's got that Seymour bit, so I can't see the rest of it, but I will read and respond. So yeah, in the Inner Circle group, for those of you that are in the Inner Circle, the Inner Circle is a group of clients who have done programs and products with me, and paid programs and products, and they go into that group as well. Sometimes they stay, sometimes they leave again. So yeah, go post it in there and get some support and encouragement from those around you. Can't wait to see what you share. Thank you for sharing this with friends, groups, and everyone anywhere else where it's appropriate for you to share. Have a really happy and motivated Monday, and know that there is no such thing as failure, only feedback. Look at the feedback that's coming back and use that as a way to pivot towards the thing that you want to do differently, be differently, have differently. So much love to you all. Thank you so much for the comments, the love hearts, the thumbs up, the laughing emoji faces. It means a lot. Bye for now.